everyone, Amy here with Phoenix. So today I wanted to do a short video to show you how we're raising chicks outside. So this system is what we use when the chicks haven't been hatched by their mum. So we've either incubated them ourselves or we've bought them in as day olds or young poultry. So the system works for chicks just as well as it does for ducklings, goslings, whatever it is that you're raising for poultry. So let's have a look. So here you can see we have got our little run and the little hut there at the back. So this is a movable system. Basically we move this each day. It shifts along one width, so every day they're on fresh ground. Now the reason for this is mainly due to parasites, because they make a lot of mess and a lot of poo, and what you don't want them to be doing is re-ingesting that poo. Now chickens and ducklings and any other poultry, their natural instinct is to sort of forage around on the ground. Now if you leave them in one spot too long, they're going to be pecking around in their own poo and re-ingesting any worms that may be in that poo, which will cause a sort of overload. Now something called coccidiosis, for example, if that gets too much in their bodies, it will make them really ill, and quite often it can kill them, especially at a young age. So it's really important to keep them moving to control the parasite load. And more than that, it gives them fresh ground each day, fresh grass to be eating, fresh little flies and bugs to be finding in the ground. Because as you can see, this was yesterday's patch, and they do make quite a mess. By the time they've sort of spilt food and trampled around on it, they're not going to be wanting to forage around in that for very long. So it gives them somewhere fresh to go each day, fresh grass to eat, and controls parasite load. So the run itself, this was all handmade by James, so it's a really simple construction. It's just made out of tile batten and wired, so it's very basic, very lightweight, so it's easy to move each day. So basically at night when we shut them in, the next morning I'll just slide the hut across, which is separate to the run, to make it easier. So yeah, if you're thinking of making something, make sure it's nice and light and it's easy to move. Now we've got a lid on here because birds like crows, for example, will take young poultry. So putting a lid on it avoids that problem, and it means that they're going to be safe from any aerial predators. Now we've made the lid fully removable, so that when each morning I come out and I take everything that's in here out and clean and refresh everything, and then it's easy to move across and put back in. So by having no lid on there just means easy access. Now what have we actually got in the run? So this will depend on what you're raising. So obviously we've got a mix of chicks and ducklings in here. So starting with the chicks, as you can see, chickens naturally perch, and they like to have something to perch on. So if you're raising chicks or turkeys or anything like that, make sure you put something in there like just as simple as a stick, so that they can climb up on there. It's a natural behaviour for them, and it encourages it. So try to put something in there that's going to encourage natural behaviour. And as far as that goes with ducks are waterfowl. They like water. They like to submerge their heads in water. They like to splash around in water. So because we've got ducklings in here, we've got a little bowl of water. As you can see, there's one in there having a little splash around. Now because we're raising them both at the same time, if a chick was to get into that water bowl and couldn't get out, it would drown. So I just make sure that we've got little rocks in there so that if a chick for any reason was to get in there, it could get out really easily. So as you can see, the duck is actually stood on the rock. So I've put a brick here to make a nice easy step, and in here there's a little rock so that the chicks can find it easy to get out. Obviously they're going to want a freshwater supply as well. Now, because the ducks are in here, the ducks tend to eat and then go and swill their beaks around in the water, so it's constantly getting mucky. So this does avoid it more, but obviously with ducks around there's going to be some mess. So this is more for the chicks than it is for the ducks, because the ducks prefer the big bowl. So there we go, that's the run. Now let's have a look at the hut. So obviously we want a door to be able to shut them at night, and that will protect them from predators, but also it'll stop any cold breezes going in, so to retain a little bit of warmth in there. So again, the hut was made by James. So we've just got a little loop here, and what that does is at night it just drops the door down, and it's just easy for us to do when we come out here at night. So that's that. Now I'm just going to pop you down while I take the roof of the run off. So the roof of the hut, is removable as well. So this makes it easy to clean. Okay. So what have we got in here? Now the first thing you're going to need is a source of warmth, which means you're going to need a source of electric. So as you can see behind me, the house is fairly close, and we've actually got electric that's under the cover here. So you will need a source of electric, because these animals aren't with their mum, and naturally they would be going under their mum for a source of warmth. Now because they don't have that, you need to provide that artificially. So what we have is one of these sort of heater plates. So this here underneath is a warm pad, so at night or when it gets chilly in the day they can come in here and go underneath. The legs are adjustable, so this comes up and down, so depending on the size of them and as they grow you can raise that up to suit them. So the reason we use this and not a lamp are for two reasons. This uses less electric and in turn is cheaper to run, and the second reason is it's less of a fire hazard with the bedding. So this works a lot better for us, we find. And then each day I just top the sawdust up a little bit and give it a freshen up a little bit, and then after 3 or 4 days I just take the whole lot out and start again and refresh completely. To give them a fresh bed each day. So obviously their food is in there as well. One thing to know about chicks or anything else that you're raising. Now if you can hear a noise and they're chirping quite loudly, it normally means there's a problem. Phoenix, no. She's desperate to get to them. For some reason they're a lot more interesting when they're in a run than when they're out. So if they're making a lot of noise, it normally means that something's wrong and they're not happy. So either they've run out of water or food, or they're cold. Obviously normal chirping around like you can hear now, that's quite normal. But if it's particularly loud, go and check it out, because it does normally indicate that there's a problem there. So just to sum up, think about making something that's easily movable so that you can move them to fresh ground each day. Make sure you've given them a good source of water and food, and think about mental stimulation and what their natural behaviours are, and try to provide something that can encourage that. Make sure you've got a source of electric so that you've got a source of warmth for them, because they can't keep warm on their own at the minute. They do need a source of warmth. So that's that. Make sure that the hut has a closable door to keep them secure at night, and think about a roof for the run to keep them safe from aerial predators. And that is about it. So I wish you the very best of luck in raising your own chicks or ducklings or goslings or whatever it might be, and I hope this video has been useful. See you next time, guys.